Good morning, Bernadette McClelland, CEO of Through Red Folders. We are a sales and sales leadership consultancy based here in Melbourne, Australia. And we believe that the winning formula, the winning trifecta for business development and sales success consists of creating a great sales strategy. It's about the science behind that, and it's also around psychology. So today's lesson in creating the A to Z of a winning sales strategy for you is around growth. Now, I'm not going to be talking to you about Carol Dweck's fixed or growth mindset or Daniel Kahneman's fast thinking or slow thinking brain. We are going to be talking about you. And so when we think of growth, we tend to think of the academic side of things, the skills building side of things, the reading of books and the listening to podcasts and the having the sales training. That's not what I mean by growth today. So if we consider for a moment that when we're children, everything about us is curiosity based, everything about us is imagination, we're constantly learning because we have to, because it's the survival of the fittest. Charles Darwin said it's not the most intelligent or the most skilled, it's those that can best adapt to change. And so when we think of kids, they're forever adapting to change. And so puberty kicks in, and when that happens, the left brain kicks in as well, and that's the analytical thinking starts to come into play and starts to kind of balance out with our right brain creativity side. We think about that when we're at school. All of a sudden we have to do tests and we have to do exams and we're graded. Are we an A+ student or are we a D student? We start to look at metrics and we start to compare ourselves to other people. And those of us that aren't shining, then we start to shrink into the shadows. So all of a sudden, our love of learning begins to disappear. And so, we as adults, we move into, our sales role, and we're having to learn new skills. We're afraid to put our hand up for what other people will think. All this comparison stuff starts to kick in. So we say that we're open to change. We say that we are adaptable, but when the rubber hits the road, are we really? Or do we just run for the hills because we're fearful? So if growth is not about academia or skills or learning stuff like that, what's it about? So I think when we think of growth, we tend to think that we've got to keep adding stuff. We've got to keep stacking stuff. We've got to keep learning. When what if we did maths in a different way? What if it wasn't about adding? What if it was about dividing and delegating, or sharing and multiplying? What if it was about subtraction? What if what we needed to do to be the best that we could be wasn't to add more stuff, do more stuff, be more? What if it was to take away? Let me explain. Sometimes our greatest strengths can be our greatest weaknesses. And sometimes we may need to look at how we show up and think, okay, what can I pull back on? So I'll give you an example. I'm very enthusiastic, gregarious. When I first started out in sales, somebody said to me, "You've won this deal because you're so enthusiastic." And I thought that was a badge of honor. But you know what? As I matured and as I started to get into more deeper types of, enterprise type sales scenarios, people don't want enthusiastic. So I have to dial that part of my personality back just a little bit. So what is it about you that you might think is a really great strength, but you may have to dial back a little bit? The futurist Alvin Toffler said, the illiterate of the 21st century won't be those that can read or write, but it will be those who can learn, unlearn, and relearn. So I'm going to challenge you today. What is it about you that you can unlearn and relearn? So on that note, growth is the key word for today. So place your comments in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you think about this topic. Say yes if you want to continue to hear from me, and also follow the hashtag A2Z series. And you can see the full A to Z of how to create a winning sales strategy. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where it's brought to you by the letter H. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.